Well, good evening and God bless you in Jesus' name. So, once again, this is the story of my life. So, when you get somebody's story, you can really understand why they think, why they act like they act. So, you're learning a lot about me and my life story. And again, we're going back to my childhood in the streets of Detroit, where you grew up fighting and doing other things. I had a lot of family members that were well known. And I didn't even know this as I was growing up until it was different situations that I saw this, like I shared with you last week. Another situation was, and I believe I was maybe 11 or 12, whatever age you are in sixth grade. So I had detention with another young man, and it's cold, snow on the ground, and we're leaving detention. Now, this guy, I didn't know him. I knew his face. He's around my neighborhood. I lived on Barnum Street. He lived on Willette. That's around the corner. But he wasn't like a friend of mine, someone I played with. He just some a face that I seen. If I seen him, I say, "Oh, I know him because I've seen him before." But we're still walking together home from detention. And as soon as we round the corner on Willette, there's a guy there with a pistol, and he tells us to check in our shoes. And of course, he's holding a pistol, so we just gonna give him our shoes. So as I go to take my shoes off, he looks down at me, and this is his exact word. He said, "Hey, little nigga, you KP's cousin?" And I looked up at him and I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, get out of here." So I just ran, took off, and I'm running. I said, "Okay, well, good to have people in the right place." So then, again, this was in my friend, so I couldn't speak up for him. I couldn't say, "Hey, he's with me" or anything like that. So he came running aside on the side of me, crying, shoes off in the snow. But there's nothing I can do about that. But this was again, I was seeing aspect of my family. Okay, my family is like known for certain. I already knew about my one of my favorite cousins who was always in the streets fighting anyway. When his signature move, and I watched him growing up with his signature move, he would tell people, "All right, it's okay." His signature move was to sucker punch him. He's like, "Look, man, that's all right. We ain't gonna even fight about it. Let's just shake hands and just squash it." So he would do that to them. He would grab their hand and bring them in and bop them every time. That was his signature move. And him and his best friend, of course, rode together for years. And his best friend knew his signature move. So one day they get into it, and I'm watching as they go back and forth. And of course, my cousin again say, "Oh, let's just squash it, man." To do his signature move, grab him and swings, but it's his boy, his best friend. So he knows his signature move, so he just ducks. And they go at it and they scrapping back and forth. And that's what I was accustomed to. And I was always fighting, learning from them as I'm growing. And I'm always fighting in the neighborhood. And my best friend, believe it or not, was a girl. She was my best friend. And I loved her. And they always wanted us to be together. But it was just like, that's just no. She was literally felt like a sister to me all my years, even in high school and throughout our lives. We truly felt like brother and sister. I couldn't even develop feelings for her like that. My friends would be like, "Man, why you ain't never get with her? Whoop de whoop de whoop." I'm like, "Nah, you don't understand. She's my like true sister." That's how we had feelings for each other. I mean, brother and sister. We grew up together in the neighborhood. And I guess we terrorized together until one day me and her fell out. And this was our first and last time we ever had a falling out. We was arguing about something, going back and forth. And she was up on her porch. And her porch, in Detroit, we have stairs and porches. And her porch didn't have rails, though. It was a cement porch and it didn't have rails. So I go up there and I'm talking to her and we yelling back and forth. And I grab her and I just throw her off the porch. And she went backwards and fell down and didn't fall, but she went back and jumped down and landed on her feet. And it's something like out of a karate movie or something. So I looked down at her and she looked up at me And we just bust out laughing like, wow, that was amazing. How did you do that, right? You ain't fall or nothing. You came down landing on your feet. So that was our only time we had a disagreement or a falling out. And it was just over just as fast as it started. We didn't even remember what we was fighting about. But she was my best friend. And that's just how it was. So we pretty much terrorized the neighborhood and fighting other kids. My wife would say that I was a bully, but I didn't like bullies. I truly did not like bullies. I liked to defend the weaker person. I guess it was maybe with just people I liked. I don't know. But I always would fight different people in our neighborhood. Like my best friend, her next door neighbor, he would be with us, but me and him always end up fighting. Two brothers right across the street from me, always fighting, always scrapping. I get them both, but that's just how it was. And then the older cousins and friends that sometimes they would put us up against together like dog fights or something and just make us fight, get in there and scrap. So that's how it was. And for the most part, I will always win as far as I can remember, to the point that on two separate occasions, I had adults hold me so I can be beaten on. The first occasion was I went to go visit my friend down the street from my house. And I go in there, and usually I just wait on the porch. But the dad said, come on in. You can wait on the inside. I said, okay, strange, but no big deal. So I go inside, and as soon as I go in the house, he grabs me from behind. Boom! And he calls his son. And he said, whoop his tail right now. And he's hesitant. He's looking. And his dad say, if you don't whoop him right now, I'm going to whoop you. So he started going in. And he had me held like this. I'm like this. So I couldn't move. And he just wearing me out. Banging me. Bang, bang, bang. Every direction. He lumping me up. Black eyes, bloody lips, bloody nose. He just going in on me because he don't want his father to go in on him. So needless to say, he sent me out of the house crying. I'm running down the street. My cousin's out on the porch doing their thing, whatever, smoking, drinking. And I'm running past. I'm crying. I'm trying to tell them what happened. They're like, boy, go on. Y'all fight every day. And that's what we did in the neighborhood. We fought every day. We played, fought, played, and fought. But we always come back together. So they wasn't hearing none of it. They're like, just go on, man. They got you today. Okay, you'll get them the next day. So that's just how it was. So what nobody ready to cry to. The second time, though, I went specifically to my favorite cousin to cry to her. And this how this happened. So we had a corner store. It was called Chuck's. So I was riding my bike, and these the two brothers that I'm always fighting against pretty much every other day. So I'm riding around the corner to Chuck's, and there they go. And they with their auntie. And so now I get around the corner. I'm not thinking nothing of it because remember, we play and we fight. We play and we fight. So it's no big deal to me. But I get around the corner and I'm saying, what's up? And the auntie snatches me off my bike from behind and got me in the bear hug like this. And she's holding me. And she said, y'all better whoop his A right now. And I'm like, looking at that, I said, and I'm like, signaling, you better not touch me. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. You better not touch me. And she threatened him, you better get him. I'm going to get you once again. And all I could do was cover up and take it. I was getting blasted all over again. But this time, I went to my favorite cousin. And I ran home straight to her, bloody and crying. This is what happened. She held me and let them beat on me. And she's like, okay, let's go deal with this. I'm like, yeah, you get her and I get them. Let's go. So we went and she confronted her and she started talking to her and like, what are you doing? These boys fight and play every day. You don't get involved with that. And she's like, yeah, you right. I'm like, what's going on here? You know, I ain't come over here. I ain't want no talking. I want you to get her and I'll get them. So they continue on talking. She's like, yeah, you're right. I was wrong. I apologize. I shouldn't have did that. I'm like, wrong, apologize. I'm here bleeding and hurting. I don't want to hear none of that. I want to keep on going. Get her. But it didn't happen. She just talked. And that's all that happened. And she made sure it wasn't going to happen again. But that was my favorite cousin. And my people, they had clout. They could get things in order. They could get things right. And that's what I was a part of. And it was unbeknownst to me the positions they had, the respect that they held. But as I grew older, I understood what it was. And then again, I wanted that for myself. And again, my favorite cousin had already established that I was crazy. So I was going to make sure that I established that in everything that I did in the streets. So, and that's how I conducted myself and lived. And I had some of my closest friends. Like I told y'all before, we called the Four Horsemen and one more, the plus one. And we were so close. I mean, we had each other back to the very end. There was nothing that we weren't going to do for one another. We was riders for each other. And again, our one brother who wasn't doing no wrong, he wasn't selling no drugs, doing no shooting, but he's fighting. He's going to party. He's getting women. He'll do that. He'll fight all day long, but he ain't doing no shooting, no selling, no drugs. And if we doing any of that, he wants to be dropped off, and he's still alive. I'm still alive, and the other three are passed away. And I'll share more of this story, what happened to me after I gave my life to the Lord in the military and came back to the neighborhood. I tried to evangelize everybody and just win the world because I was so excited for Jesus. But yet, we can only save who we can save. We can only do what we can do. We can't save everybody. We can save somebody. All of us can save somebody, but none of us can save everybody. But do everything that you can to share your testimony, to share your love of God, to share your relationship in Jesus Christ. Do everything you can. If you love your family, if you love your friends, do everything you can to share Jesus Christ. And before I go, I'll share this with you. And this was a poem that I read, and I wish I had it before me, but I read it years ago. And it was a poem from a friend to another friend. And it was on the lines of all this time that you knew Jesus and didn't share him. All the days we spent, all the time we spent, all the years that went by, that you was my friend. The meals we shared, the company we shared, the events we shared together. All this time I thought you were my friend. And now, as I'm in hell looking up, I realize that all that time you were truly not my friend because you knew this Jesus and you didn't share him with me. So again, if you are a friend, you love your friends, you love your family, share Jesus with them. That's the best gift you can give them. Well, God bless you for now. Until we meet again.